I know you're going to hate me. I'm sorry to the fans of the Dogs, but you have overachieved, and you deserve the spot on the list. First, sorry for disappearing last week and having less content on the channel this last month. I have been in the middle of interviews looking for a new job, and Mike has been sick and lost his voice completely, so he's been kind of MIA as well. So let's talk about this video, though. One of my favorite things about college football is the debate that comes from fan bases about who is better. So I'm going to add fuel to the fire, and I'm going to give you my top 15 programs currently in college football. I've done my research, I've crunched the numbers, and I come up with my list. I've taken into account the last 4 years of what they've done on the field, winning conference championships, strength of schedule, recruiting, have they won the national championship, have they made the college football playoff consistently. I'm taking all those into consideration, put it into points, and then created my top 15 list. So without further ado, here is my list that I have come up with. So let's get into it. Coming in at number 15, yes, they were robbed of a playoff spot this year, and that kind of hurt their results. I got Florida State. The reason for this is I think they're on an upward trajectory, and I think they probably could. You can knock them higher. What really hurt them, in my opinion, and when I did my research, is the back half. You know, the recent history, right? They've been good the last 2 years, but can they be consistent? I don't think you're the best program, right? If you have 2 good years, I know they're historically a power. I know they're starting to recruit better. They're starting to get the dudes on campus they need to be successful. And I think the trajectory is up, so they're going to be higher on this list if they keep going the way they're going. But as of right now, I think 15 is fair. I have them at 38 points. Just lacking that consistency in recent years really hurt them, and why I put them at 15. You have an ACC title. You don't really have much else. You could celebrate, you know, the undefeated season last year until the bowl game debacle, but I think 15 is fair. Next up, it's Mr. Consistency, and that is Oklahoma State, coming in with 39 points on my list. I think this team, what makes them so good is Mike Gundy just knows how to make a good team. They're good. They're never great. They're always good. They're always consistent. They're always in the hunt. They've been kind of the second fiddle in tier 2 teams in the Big 12, consistently behind the Texas and Oklahomas, but they're gone now, which gives them a great opportunity to step up and be the power team in the Big 12. They have a really good opportunity, and as a team that constantly seems to be winning between 8 to 10 wins a year, I think they're in a good spot. They need to recruit a little bit better, but I think that could help if Oklahoma falls off a little in the SEC. I think they could start recruiting a little bit better and kind of jump up this ranking. Next, we have 13, which is Penn State, another good but not great team. I mean, they're behind Michigan and Ohio State in the Big Ten, which seems like forever. James Franklin is a great coach. He does a good job with Penn State. I think he's one of the best coaches in the entirety of college football. They just can't get over the hump of Ohio State and Michigan, and that's going to hurt them, and it's always going to hurt them, and until they do that, I think this is a good spot for them, and this is where they belong. All right, number 12, we have Texas A&M, and I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for that one. I get it. Do they deserve this? Probably not. Yes, they're underperforming, but man, their recruiting has been insane. The talent on this roster has been amazing, what they've assembled, but man, they have underachieved so far. They are the biggest underachievers in the country. I'm thinking post Jimbo Fisher, maybe they figure it out. I have them 12 because of the recruiting. Yes, they had one really pretty good year. If you look back to that COVID year, that team was really good, but since then they've underachieved, but the talent acquisition is there. Just need to put it all together. They seem kind of like where Texas was a couple of years ago, where the roster's getting there, but they need to put it all together. So they come 12. Hate me in the comments, I get it, but that's where I'm putting them. 11, and this is where I'm gonna get my hate. Sorry to the fans of the Dogs, but you've overachieved, and you deserve the spot on the list. I think 11 is fair, coming with 47 points, and that is Washington. I know you made the national championship last year, but let's be honest here. You lost your coach. You've not really recruited all that great. You've just done enough to get the job done. And now going to the Big Ten, I'm not really confident you deserve to be any higher. I think y'all peaked out. But all in all, as a program, they're in a solid place. They're a good team. But I don't see them ever really reaching that national championship caliber team. I thought last year was your shot, and you blew it. but you'll still be a good program, just not a great superpower. Coming in at number 10 on the list with 48 points, this team has had all the resources and is a monster in recruiting, and that is LSU. Brian Kelly is moving the team in the right direction. They had a few, I would say, down years for them, but I still think they're in a good spot and deserve all the praise. And I think Brian Kelly has an opportunity. A couple of things go their way. They were SEC West champions a couple years ago, and now you throw that onto the fire. Can he keep recruiting? Can he fix the defense? He has a Heisman champ on the offensive side, so can he fix the defense and get past Alabama, which lost Nick Saban? So that's going to be very interesting, but I think a 10 spot is good for LSU. Number 9 on the list, we have Oklahoma with 51 points. I mean, they've been one of the dominant forces in the Big 12, and now moving to the SEC should be interesting. I think you've got to give them their credit. They recruit well, they play well, they are a model of consistency, and it should be interesting to see where they go forward. Are they as good as they think? 8, I have Oregon at 52. And Oregon is as good as it gets. I mean, the Nike school knows how to recruit. They've been a force in the Pac-12 for years now. They've been consistent. The one thing they have been lacking is that high-end success. That playoff success has not come yet. It's going to be tough moving to the Big Ten now, but they are a good team that is super loaded and should be interesting to see what they do. But I like them here at 8. I think that's where they belong. They're in that realm of all these teams I feel like in this range are good but not great. Capping off the good but not great we have is Notre Dame. Again, 55 points on my list. I'm just above Oregon and Oklahoma and LSU, and the reason for that is they've been, again, another team that's been consistent. They play a very tough schedule even though it's an independent. They've had a lot of success. They have a playoff appearance in the last 4 years. I think they're, again, missing the playoff success, but all these teams, other than, LSU 5 years ago, are missing playoff success. They have not had it, and that's what kind of holds them back, and we'll see if they get it. It's going to be tough now, with the new playoff format. I think it hurts them, but we'll see what it looks like. Coming in at 6 is Texas, and I think this is the hottest program in the country, but I'm not yet ready to put them in the tier 1 of teams. Yes, they've had one good year. We could say Texas is back. I agree that Texas is back. They're finally in a position where I feel like the program is stable. They've kind of, have gone through the highs and lows, and it seems like they're finally back up on top. Now, can they put it together? And it's going to be a very interesting time. They're going to the SEC now. It's going to be a lot tougher, but this team recruits at a high level. They've been playing, at least this last year, at a really, really high level. And it seems like they have all the pieces to start creeping up and contending for that kind of top 3 spot program. I would not be surprised if they're in the top 3 in the next 2-3 years, but they got to kind of keep working and keep building on their success. Number 5, they're in a weird spot, and some might argue, why are they 5? But I'm going with Clemson. I got them at 63 points. They're still recruiting at a high level. If Dabo would just use the transfer portal, I think they could still be in the top 3. They were a monster, which seems like, those days are behind them. They're still really good. They're in an ACC that's not super strong. Really, Florida State and Miami are the only ones that can kind of keep up with them talent for talent in that conference. So I still think they're going to get a lot of wins if Dabo can find ways to keep producing. And with the expanded playoff format, I still think they can be very successful and really good and solid team. Now, they're nowhere near my, top tier, my top 4. And they've been on the downslide, so that hurts them as well. But don't count out Clemson. They could bounce back and have a really good year, and I wouldn't be surprised. 4 on this list is where things get interesting. These top 4 teams are clearly a cut above the rest these last, 4 years, and that is Ohio State's going to come in with 72 points, and Ohio State fans are probably not happy with me, but let's be real here. You do not deserve to be higher than Michigan. Michigan has dominated you as a program these last 3 years. Michigan has been the best team in the Big Ten. They won the national championships last year. Sorry, Ohio State, you have not done that in a long time. Yes, you got a little unlucky, and you could say there was some team, you had championship caliber teams 3 or 4 times and just came up short. That is true, but right now Michigan's the top dog. Now with Harbaugh out, we'll see what the future holds, but I think 4 is a good spot for Ohio State. Now this year, they do look like they could win a natty, and maybe they jump back up, but right now I have them 4, and I think that's fair. 3, Michigan, you come in with 76 points, you're ahead of your rival, but you're not in the top cusp. Yes, you're coming off a national championship, yes, but there are some things you're lacking. One, you're not recruiting at the highest of high levels. You're not that top tier recruiter, and that's going to hurt you. That's going to not lead to great success. You lost your head coach to the NFL. Where does that leave you? I don't know. I think 3rd is fine because you have dominated Ohio State, so I'm going to give that to you, and you won a natty, but I could see Michigan start slipping down the rankings in years to come. 2, this one I'm going to probably get heat for too. I got Georgia with 94 points. Yes, they're one of the best teams in the country. Yes, they're one of the best programs in the country. I have them 2 behind Alabama. I just think Alabama recruits a little bit better. I think Alabama has been more consistent over the last 4 to 5 years. And Georgia, yes, they won the back-to-back national championship. Yes, they had 2 amazing teams. But Alabama has still competed with Georgia. Alabama has still had more, wins and consistency, making the playoffs more times. Georgia has had moments where they've fallen off, and let's be real here, Alabama goes out and challenges themselves. Georgia, their non-conference has not been a challenge. They're in the weaker of the SEC divisions, so I think it's fair to say that the 2 spot is where they belong, and that leaves me number 1, Alabama, coming with 97 points. Now, the new era without Nick Saban is going to be interesting. I don't know where this leads Alabama's future. I don't know if they're going to drop, but they deserve the number 1 spot. They've been the most consistent program over the last 4 years. They're recruiting the best. They're having the best athletes. They have the most talented roster, and they're winning. They're producing. So I couldn't do anything but put them 1. So that's my top 15. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Let me know in the comments down below. But that's all I got for you today, and I'm super excited to see y'all let me know in the comments how dumb I am and how I messed this rankings up. But those are my 15 teams. See y'all next time. Peace.